All right. Well, welcome today. We're excited on today's podcast to have Joe.Baumann from Joe's Demo joining us. So, welcome, Joe.
Hey, how are you guys?
Great to have you. We're real excited. I've known Joe for a while, and he has an interesting business that he runs a little bit, and um, it's turned into a big business. So we're here to talk about that today. So I noticed you've got your fire department shirt on as well. You're a first responder also, and you're with the IFD, Indianapolis
Correct.
Fire Department. And tell us a little bit about Joe's Demo and kind of how it came to be.
Well, to be honest with you, it came to be because I didn't want to pay I didn't want to pay somebody else to do the work.
Okay.
Um, the wife and I were redoing all the flooring in our house, and we found somebody to do it. And part of their fee was to remove uh, remove the carpet and some of the old stuff, and it was just a dumb price. And I said, well, I can do that myself. So I started doing it, and it took me about 4 or 5 hours to do the house and kind of get everything organized. And I kind of looked at my wife and said, there's got to be something out there, to beat some of these big box stores and do the dirty work that other people don't want to do. And kind of just took off odds and end jobs. And then about 2 years ago, I got my first really, really big job. And once we knocked that one out, it pretty much just kind of took off from there.
That's great. Um, and I know just in working with you and just seeing how you work and how your crew works, that you've got one of the things that I think sets you apart from a maybe another demolition contractor outside of how easy you are to communicate with and how quickly you get out is how dependable your guys are. So talk with me or talk with the audience a little bit about who works for you and how you guys do work.
Well, I have some firemen that work, odds and ends, depending on their shift. I have firemen's kids that come home from the summertime from college that work for me, and then I have three full-time guys that are here on the south side that are friends of a friend that I've gotten to be friends with that became my lead guys on all the jobs. So it's kind of a little mix of just everybody that I've come across in my life, somebody that either A, needed a job when they didn't have anything, or B, just something to do when when they're home from school or not teaching. So I kind of run the gamut from 18 years old up to 40-year-old guys, just kind of doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah, that's good. I think your ability to get people onto the job site, certainly commendable, and that's something you want from a demo company for sure. So let's talk about Joe's Demo. We talked about the roots of it, and really how you've grown a lot. Uh, what is the scope of your business expanded from outside of maybe tearing a house apart to what are some specialty things that you've done and ways that you've branched out?
Well, I always like to tell people, Chris, that it started with a trash can and a shovel. So I mean, literally, it showed up like one guy like that trying to bounce a firehouse and stuff like that, and then now it's to the point where my crew's pretty much on a schedule with free estimates and stuff like that. What we do is, we've done everything from inside of houses. When I say inside, if you want your bathroom, your kitchen, or your entire house ripped out like we're doing currently, we come in and take everything else down to the studs. And then, but that's interior. We also do exterior. We rip off siding. We'll clean up your outside. In a pinch, if you need something, we'll lay your mulch for you. There's not too many things that we won't try. For instance, 2 weeks ago we tore down a tree house. So it was, we've done a little bit of this, and, you know, I know there's still stuff out there that we could do, but, you know, we don't really back down too much. As far as specialty services, we're basically just kind of what you talked about. You know, we can tear stuff down, we can clean stuff out. There's not too many surfaces or anything that we haven't seen that we haven't been able to accomplish getting torn up. So that's kind of what I try not to get too far outside of it, just because you don't want to have too many things and then not be able to do the main thing. But
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things about the demolition business is that, or what you guys do, is that you don't have a wrecking ball or a bulldozer that you got to still maintain. Most of the time, you got to maintain the structure, right? So sometimes people are living there, sometimes they're not. Sometimes that you're tearing down a chimney and the rest of the house stays. You know, so how, you know, what? I guess how do you guys balance that? How do you guys balance not just destroying the whole structure?
well, normally, you know, obviously, we never go in this thing blindly. I always try to get out there and at least walk the job or see pictures or stuff like that. To be honest with you, it's not a lot of houses have good, you know, good bones, or, you know, what they like to call it. So a lot of it is you don't need to rip off you don't need to tear down the entire house. Now, unfortunately, part of my business is, you know, with tragedy and destruction, when, you know, bad things happen, you know, normally I'm either the first or second person, you know, there, because we have to clean it up, get it ready so that, you know, engineers and stuff can look at it. But anytime, like, we're dealing with chimneys or big weight or anything, my guys are pretty smart at, you know, building retaining walls, or, you know, walls that can, secondary walls that'll hold stuff up so that we can work on just what we want. And then we kind of just do it as careful as we can, to be honest with you, when we're not dealing with, you know, if we're only tearing down the kitchen, we want to make sure we don't do anything to damage the bathroom. So, so really, it's just a lot of that. Make sure the water's turned off, make sure electricity's cut to that side of the house. We go through a lot of plastic wrap, keeping debris and dust and everything to a minimum. So
Well, that's good. You know, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting to see a job, you know, from start to finish, and I'm sure for you guys to be able to see it from tragedy or extreme ugliness to a blank slate. I think that seems like it would be fulfilling.
yeah, that's always the fun part too, especially when customers send me the final product. You know, because a lot of times, you know, when I get it down, say we're tearing out your bathroom, I never really get to see the finished product, you know, until a picture, you know, either a month or a couple weeks later. So it's always really neat to see, you know, get a text or get a Facebook message or something from a past customer and say, like, hey, this is what it is. Or, you know, like some of the investment real estate guys that we do stuff for, it's nice to be able to drive by and say that house is only standing there because, you know, what we did. You know, we didn't paint it, we didn't do anything, but there's, you know, almost 40 hours you know, almost 400 man hours go into, you know, tearing something, you know, getting the insides of some of these older homes down and getting it so that they can make them fancy again. So it's really rewarding when, you know, when that last day of the job, when you're putting tools away instead of getting them out. So
Yeah, I think that is really interesting to hear that I think most people that haven't done it probably don't realize the amount of manpower and man hours that go into like gutting a house or gutting a kitchen. I mean, and it's not just blasting through there with a, you know, a jackhammer or a sledgehammer. You really have to, you know, there's some finesse to it too, right?
right. Well, yeah, because people don't understand the thing I've learned is every house is different. You really have to be careful, because you really can, and my guys have proven it, you really can tear down a house with a sledgehammer. The pressure points and where different different studs and different things are in walls. Like they really, when they say load bearing, they mean it. Like, you know, you can clip one away and a lot of stuff will fall down.
Yeah.
So you got it. That's why, you know, but yeah, it's very interesting from a standpoint of, yeah, you just got to take your time, do it piece by piece. It's almost kind of like peeling back an orange or an onion. You know, you just layer by layer. Once you know, once a lot of your weight, your carpet, your debris, and you know, ceilings and stuff are off, then you can kind of go, you know, start taking other parts down. But
So what's the most you have an interesting story about like the weirdest thing that you've had to tear down or something that you've uncovered while taking something apart?
well, we always get the friendly animal.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of raccoons that have fallen out of ceilings and stuff that that'll give you a good laugh and raise your blood pressure a little bit. But I still say the most interesting one is the very first one, the first one that really kind of changed how I did business. You know, it was kind of a one-man show, scrambling maybe for an employee every once in a while. But, you know, I got the phone call, asked if I still did it, showed up, and, you know, we had guys on ladders and rain and everything else. And we hit our deadline. And I mean, that one will always stick out just because that's the one that put me on the map, that really gave me the confidence that it's more than just going and hauling stuff away or cutting up, you know, a couple thousand square feet of carpet. Like you can do a whole house. And it all goes back to, like you said, my favorite thing is just the guys that work for me. You know, because it is demanding. It is, you know, it is tough. So it's always fun. It's always fun to get a job done, but it's always fun to, you know, to see the guys work hard or do something that maybe they thought they couldn't do. You know, and it's always fun when we get to use some power tools, some lifts and stuff like that, to go a little higher up in the air to get stuff done. But that first one will always, that first total home, that one will always be, you know, in the memory books for how it went. So
That's good stuff. So would linoleum be the hardest thing to remove, or what's the hardest surface to get?
you know what, your flooring guys, they give me a run for their money. There's
Yeah.
no doubt. You know, for the older construction people that know it, you know, plastic and lath is terrible. It's just, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
but as far as perfect conditions, walk into a room, there'll be nothing harder than some tile floors. Some tile floors, those guys, they put that stuff on there to not to not get removed.
Yeah.
But that, and then probably the most challenging one that we had was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. We took the chimney down that caught fire, and it was about 28 feet up in the air. And so having guys on scaffolding 28 feet in the air was, it's a little nerve wracking, but you know, once it started coming down, it was, you know, we did it. We had done it 2 ways. One way is piece by piece, and the other way, if you live next to a big field, we can push it over in the field and pick it up. So
There you go. Well, I notice your logo is a riff on Gold's Gym. I don't know if you can, like, if there's a way to see it, like if,
oh yeah,
yeah. So it says Joe's Demo, and it's got the muscle man with the hammer there. Pretty clever. I like it.
I try. Yeah.
So I know that you guys, well, we talked about demo as a necessary part of the process that a lot of people overlook when we're talking about housing, whether it's remodeling or completely starting with a clean slate, or even you know, a commercial build out. You know, there's the demo process does involve finesse, and it's definitely a necessary part of the process. And so love having you today to kind of fill us in on that. Knowing that what you do, you do residential, small to big jobs. It sounds like you're getting into commercial as well.
Yeah, we're doing we've done several small to small to big commercial jobs. And it's really the same thing, just kind of the different, under a different premise. But yeah, we branched out to start doing some commercial stuff, and hopefully before long we'll might be going out of state. So wherever the customer is, pretty much is where we're going. So it's very interesting. It's very very challenging at the same time to think about where we could go with this.
Well, cool. I mean, so right now you're covering Central Indiana. You're doing jobs of all kind. I know mold doesn't scare you, and that you guys take the proper precautions. What are you guys doing right now in the climate of COVID to maintain safety if there's customers around?
If there's customers around, I kind of go with whatever I always ask them first.
Just kind of based on what they're looking for.
We did a bathroom remodel, and my guys are used to wearing the half face respirators just for drywall dust and stuff like that. But I always like to check with the customer, like, hey, if we don't need to have the respirator on, are you okay with my guys not having it, or would you feel more comfortable with us? And pretty much whatever they say. We already got the glove thing handled. We don't do too much work without work gloves. So it's kind of just up to the customer. If they feel more comfortable, then every one of my guys will have a respirator or some form of mask on. If it's not a big deal to them, we during the thing. So we haven't added any new employees or done too much that hasn't involved each other. So
that's awesome. So how do folks get a hold of you if they need to get a quote or to get some work done?
Well, I don't know if you can see it there.
Not really. What's your email? Joe M. Baumann?
Yes, Joe M. Baumann at yahoo.com. And that's 2 N's in Baumann. And you can also find me on Facebook at Joe's Demo LLC. You can also, if you go to that Facebook page, the business card in the back will be behind there. And you can have, it has my information, it has my email, cell phone, anything that you need to get a hold of me. With having kids and being gone away for 24 hours and everything, my phone's pretty much always on. So, and that's the other thing I forgot to tell you is we do emergency services too. So if something bad happens in the middle of the night or you need something, I have some guys that I can activate that we can go help you out in the middle of the night too. So pretty much 24/7, story of my life, between the firehouse and this. So.
Well, good deal. Well, Joe, I appreciate you guys being on today, and definitely reach out to your Facebook page. Joe's a firefighter, a family man, native to Indy, an entrepreneur, and an overall hard worker. So we're definitely excited to have you on today, and I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate that. And I just want to say, special thanks to, my wife and kids who have dealt with me for 2 years for getting us to the point we are. And 2 businesses that have really given a shot when they were the first ones to give a shot was Robert Turner with Express Restorations. Those guys have helped me out. And a fellow Southside buddy, Chris Strack with CTC Construction.
Nice.
Really gone to bat, really showing me the ropes, really helped out a lot. So if you ever need anything done, those 2 guys will help you in their respective fields, both in the restoration field and the commercial construction field. So, always like to say thank you to those guys who gave me a chance. So, and let's not forget, you were one of the first ones.
That's right.
One of the first Joe's Demo. Well, it was just some guy Hello.
Yeah, still got you.
Some guy with an idea.
There we go.
the first clean out that was only supposed to take 1 trash can, but took 4 dumpsters later. We got it all cleaned out. So,
yeah. Well, good stuff, Joe. Thanks for being on today.
All right. Hey, no problem, buddy. Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing from anybody, and I appreciate what you do too, buddy.
All right.
All right.